When beginning a review period, it's important to set clear expectations with the individual about what's required, and this is typically done by setting team and individual objectives. In this section, we'll talk about why goals are important, psychologically, and share some key tips and things to remember for managers. If you're a manager, setting objectives allows you to measure, monitor, and reward the performance of your teams. They provide clarity and focus for your team members, as they'll then know what they need to do, by when, and the quality standards they need to meet. Objectives enable you to delegate. You can't do it all yourself, and you can ensure that the team's required output is covered by your team members, leaving you to focus on the business of management rather than delivery. Objectives also help you, as a manager, to identify gaps in performance, and they can help to motivate and engage. If you are an employee, setting objectives will provide clarity, as they'll help you to understand exactly what you need to do, what your role priorities are, where to focus your efforts and energies, and what you need to do in order to be a high performer. And goal setting can also stretch you and help you develop personal strengths, preferences, interests, and career goals. The impact of goals on behaviour does depend on how these goals have been written, defined, and set. A useful acronym is STREAMS. S. Is it specific? Does it set out exactly what needs to be achieved so the individual isn't likely to go off track or end up somewhere else? Does it make it clear what success will look like? Does it describe the outcome and cover off the what and how aspects of performance? The second example gives more detail about some of the hows and specifies how much customer satisfaction needs to go up and what will contribute to achieving this. T. Does the objective have timeframes attached to it? When does this need to be done by? Are there milestones in between? Is it reasonably close to the present, i.e. not so far off into the future that it will be difficult to motivate yourself to achieve the goal and hard to see where progress has been made? R. How will this be reviewed and monitored? When? What ongoing support and progress updates might be necessary in order to ensure that the individual is on track and give them every opportunity to achieve the goal by the end of the review period? E. Can this objective be exceeded? Would it be possible to go beyond expectations and score the top marking on the review assessment scale if the individual really put in a great deal of effort? A. Is it agreed by the individual? Have they contributed to this or had an input into how the objective has been written? Is it something they see as being important, linked to an organisational strategy, part of their role, consistent with their strengths, experience, interests or career aims? M. Is it measurable? Is it clear how you and the individual will know if they have achieved it or not? Does it make it clear what sort of evidence the individual would need to provide in order to make a sensible assessment of achievement? Does it describe how any behavioural or qualitative elements might be measured? S. Is the objective stretching and challenging? Will it lead to an improvement in the way things are now? Does it build on previous successes or seek to solve past problems that are causing blockages and difficulties? Again, this is something you won't know from reading an objective, but the individual will know if it's stretching or not. Objectives should be things that require some effort, that might require some learning or skills development, or within a set of objectives, at least one should be more than just business as usual. Let's take a look at these two examples. The first is very short, but not at all specific and doesn't meet the STREAMS criteria. The second example fits with the STREAMS acronym and is likely to have a greater impact on performance and is more likely to be achieved. It will also make for a much clearer and easier conversation at the end of the review period as to whether it has been achieved or not. So, using STREAMS. S. Is it specific? The second example gives more detail about some of the hows and specifies how much customer satisfaction needs to go up and what will contribute to achieving this. T. Does the objective have timeframes attached to it? There is an endpoint in this objective as well as an interim date for arranging training for the team and for running focus groups. R. How will this be reviewed and monitored? In this example, there is a reference to quarterly reviews. E. Can this objective be exceeded? Here, they could increase it by 6 points or implement 2 new ideas per quarter. A. Is it agreed by the individual? This is something that you can't tell from just looking at an objective, but wherever possible, get people involved in setting their own goals. M. Is it measurable? In the second example, it states how customer service will be measured, and there are additional measures provided by 360-degree feedback. A list of new ideas and their perceived impact could be kept and presented as evidence, as could outputs and attendance of the focus groups. S. Is the objective stretching and challenging? Again, this is something you won't know from reading an objective, but the individual will know if it's stretching or not. In terms of putting this into practice, managers need to bear in mind that people will be more engaged if they can see how they fit in with the bigger picture. That is, if they can see how their own efforts and contributions impact on customers, on organisational profitability or performance, on colleagues, etc. Managers will want to make sure that they explicitly make these links. In Headlight's talent performance online software, you can directly link individual objectives with broader organisational goals by using a drop-down option in the Objectives tab. Objectives are rarely about maintaining the status quo. Few roles are solely concerned with maintenance, and constant change means that we are constantly looking for greater efficiency, higher impact, more speed, higher quality or accuracy, better service, etc. And repetition can create complacency and stagnation. Even with people who have very routine, process-driven roles, think about how they can be stretched even a little. We're also all going to be more motivated when we can see the link between what we're doing and our longer-term career aims. Think about whether there are objectives that can be set which link to personal development plans and prepare for future roles. We tend to be more productive, more satisfied, and more motivated when we are playing to our strengths rather than trying to develop our weaknesses. So think about how each person can make the best of what they're good at. In general, people will be more committed and motivated to achieve goals they have set themselves, and research shows that when we set our own goals, we are usually more ambitious than when others set those goals for us. Get people involved in setting their own objectives. This makes sense for a number of reasons. It will be more effective, they're likely to push themselves a little more than you might, and it saves you time. The objectives conversation is then really around you sense-checking, challenging, agreeing and supporting. Then enable them to achieve those objectives. Much better than dictating or directing. And don't forget to make use of the STREAMS acronym as you develop the objectives. Managers may like to use a team session to brief the group on the strategy, priorities, opportunities and challenges for the next year, and to share their own objectives with them. They could ask how people would like to contribute to achieving those objectives and let people proactively put themselves forwards for those tasks which interest them and which fit with their strengths. Peer pressure can be useful here. If you think there are team members who are not pulling their weight, they can sometimes be encouraged to push themselves when they see the spread of workload and responsibilities and the enthusiasm of others.